watching the second episode of our officially titled now We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue. I'm Ali, and this is Reese, and we're going to kick off with what we can only kick off with, which was the game on Sunday. Now, I know Reese has a lot of thoughts about this, so I'm going to let him start with it.
I'm not going to sit on the fence tonight. I think at the London Stadium, I think we had a nightmare of a performance. I think it was the worst I've seen this season from us. And I think the only way to really sum it up is on the big stage we collapsed. But I think for the first 20 minutes I noticed something which I've noted down here was that we let Tottenham control that midfield. I think Chloe Peplo was superb for them. She was playing like the noble in the men's team, where she dictated everything that goes through the midfield, everything that happens in the midfield, and generally everything that happens in the game. And I think it's also a keynote that I think Becky Spencer had a fabulous game as well.
So, as my mum pointed out, why didn't she play like that when she played for us?
I didn't want to say that, but
I will. It's true. I love you, Becky. You know I do. But there is a reason why Anna became our number one goalkeeper last season.
Yeah, but I think another thing that's key to note as well, Ali, as good as Becky was on Sunday, I think we wasted as many chances as well. Yeah. I think we was very lackluster as well going into attack. I don't think we had the same spark, and I think actually for attack we didn't have the effort we've been showing in the first three games before Tottenham. So look, I've been critical enough so far, Ali. So let's go over to you and get your opinion.
No, I'm with you. Our midfield was not fantastic, and that's where we lost the ball. We were sloppy. It seemed every pass we made, it went to a Tottenham player. So I can't work out whether they were great at intercepting or we were just really bad at accuracy. You talk about Peplo. She had the game of her life, but so did is it Rosalie, number 23 for Tottenham? She came over.
I was going to mention her. I think that was one of the problems. I said on the show last week I was scared over the threats from the wing, and they were the things that kept on occurring. I think Cavani did as much as she could to deal with Rosella, but the problem was, I think our fullback, I think Vetterlane was on that side, and I think she was a bit too, over the other side. There was a big gap, and I think there's something we found out about our defence is that we struggle from direct narrow balls zipping into that box.
Absolutely.
Because I think obviously I'm a Brosnan super fan, but literally without Courtney, it could have been 4 or 5-0 on Sunday.
No, absolutely. I was going to say, I thought Cami was one of the standout players for me. Our number 11, once again, she was direct. She was absolutely on it and was one of the few. We just had a poor back line. I don't know if it's because he keeps playing around with the back line. Is it going to be a Phil Neville situation where we haven't got that?
Let's hope it doesn't get that bad.
Yeah, no, look, I'm not saying that it's gonna. I'm just saying that it could be, because we had the solid back four last season in which we saw very little change. I get it, we've got new players, but it's not. I don't think we sit on the right foot. Like, you leave one of your best players in Darley on the bench and don't bring her on until midway through the second half. What intent does that show?
I was about to say that. I think when I was talking about home games, we was going too deep last season. It was the exact same thing again for me. I think when you looked at the shape of our midfield as well, it was really deep. It wasn't as attacking, and I think the main problem is that big players were making mistakes as well.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I think there was one mistake that Gilly nearly made, and normally Gilly never ever makes a mistake, and that's when I kind of thought, is this, is the big stage, getting to the players at one point, but I think as much as we have to be negative, I think we have to give Tottenham a lot of credit, because I think it was Tottenham's I think it was Tottenham's best game of the season as well.
Yeah, they were up for it. That's the thing. I don't know if it's because they'd already played in a big stadium this season because they played Chelsea, or if it's just they wanted it more than we did. But hats off to them. Like you said, Becky had a blinder of a game. Rhea had a blinder of a game. As Wally is saying, as we've mentioned, Rosella had us in absolute state. She got the ball. She was up by our goal before Vettelin or Cami even knew where she was, so we weren't quite on it this game.
See, another thing that I was speaking to somebody just in front of me, and in the first half, I mentioned that Hendricks had a very good game at fullback, so I couldn't work out as good as Cavani was. I think we struggled with height, so why didn't we either sub Hendricks on for centre back, or put her in at right back to match the height of Rosella?
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying about the consistency, because Brooke has been one of our best defenders. Now, I know she keeps trying to do the Pele overhead kick to try and get a goal. But don't believe me. Watch the replay of the FA Cup semi-final against Reading.
Don't worry, I've seen it.
She's one of our best defenders, and her and Gilly have a great partnership, and to not have that, I think our subs were made too late. Like bringing on, I know Kernhan's just come back from injury, but to bring her on so late, because she's got the pace to match Rosella, and she didn't.
That substitution really did frustrate me, actually, because I think we subbed Lehman off at the wrong time as well. As soon as she started to cause problems down that wing, she was subbed off, and I think that didn't sit well with me, really. No,
though I can see Lehman still doesn't know how to tackle and just fouls again.
Don't get too critical, Ali. Bloody hell.
I love Alicia. I love her. Even if she does tell me off in front of her girlfriend. But I'm just saying, she has an issue when it comes to tackling, in the fact that if you can't quite get it, she just kicks a player. Which for me, I love. Refs don't.
See, another thing that I want to mention as well is I think Kate Longhurst, one thing we mentioned in the preview show was that she would give 100% because she is a West Ham fan, and you could tell that because she was the only one giving 100%. And I think the face she showed after the game, summed it up perfectly. I don't think she was happy at all with the team's performance, and I think she was the only one that actually putting in the 100% as well.
So, changing the subject slightly, we're one of the only clubs that doesn't have a dedicated vice captain. The only one I can think of as well, Man City don't have a dedicated one. Would you put Longhurst as our dedicated vice captain? Because we don't. Because if Gilly's injured, or for example, when that game at Bristol, when she was tactically on the subs bench, we had Jane Ross, and Jane Ross was not a great captain. She's not vocal enough. She couldn't bring the team together. In fact, you heard Rhea more than you heard Jane then.
Yeah.
Would you say Kate was the obvious choice to be the captain if Gilly is indisposed?
So when you're talking about captaincy or vice captaincy, I think there's certain things you have to assess within the player that makes a perfect captain. I think leadership is the main one, and then players that are able to look up to this player and learn from her as well as a captain. And I think Kate fits that bill perfectly. I think with Kate as well, you wouldn't want to make a mistake in front of her because you would get told off. And I think that fear factor sometimes provides players better performances because of that as well. So for me, I'd have Kate Longhurst as vice captain, yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, she's won the league twice when she was at Liverpool, so she's definitely got the experience. And like you said, she's someone for younger players to look up to. And so I definitely would have her as someone to stand in if, like I said, if Gilly is indisposed. They've got a very similar temperament.
Yeah.
There were some positives from the wet game for West Ham, though. I do have to say there was. I think there was some positives. Like I said, Cami was absolute fire. She gave her all, I think. She just was outpaced, or had left some stuff a bit too late, but it's definitely something positive to see. It was great to see Leanne get some minutes again after her injury, as well as see Liam get some minutes back after her injury. So, and also there's lots that we can work on. Like I said, our biggest problem is midfield, and it was our problem last year, and I thought we'd got it sorted by having Midag. Apparently not.
See, now, if you want me to be brutally honest, the only positive I take from Sunday is it only lasted 95 minutes, and that is me being brutally honest.
Wow. No, I do think there is definitely some positives.
I think Cavani was the only positive, actually. I think she was just, like you said, fire, earlier. I like the way, Rosella was nearly double her height, but she still positioned herself well to deal with the height and nick the ball. And she did actually get really physical with Rosella as well, and let Rosella know she was she was there. But like I said, I think that was literally the only positive from Sunday, except from the fantastic Brosnan save in the second half.
I was going to say, if you can see the highlights of that game, the save Brosnan did with her feet to stop it going to 3-0 is something spectacular. We were absolutely gobsmacked in the stand that I was. But then again, we shouldn't have made to be put in that position.
I was right behind that save as well. And the ball literally span at the last minute when Brosnan so she had to adjust her feet as well to make that stage, because at one point it looked like it was going to go straight through her legs, but she adjusted her feet last minute, and it was a brilliant save. But like you said, that save shouldn't have been have been made, because I think that ball that came over, I think that should have been headed away.
That should have been dealt with by Gilly or someone else. Let's take one big positive from Sunday, which was the atmosphere. The game itself, despite the result, as Matthew's saying, because he was there with his daughter, I'm hoping she had a great time despite the result, Matthew, was the fact that 24,000 West Ham fans all came together. I know there's a few Tottenham, but we don't count them. But there was a fair few West Ham fans there who were getting behind our girls. There was an atmosphere that I think rivaled the men's games, because I've been to the men's games, and sometimes it is a library in that stadium and there's double the amount of people. Towards the end, people were stomping their feet. They were getting behind the girls. They were urging them to try and get that goal, because up until Tottenham's second goal, I did see that there was a draw in it. There was something we could have got. And I'm hoping that's going to translate to Rush Green. I don't think we're going to get 24,000 people in Rush Green, but I'm hoping
we can fit one stand of the London Stadium into Rush Green, Ali. So you're being a bit optimistic there.
Yeah, but I'm hoping it's going to mean more people are going to come down and support the girls after getting a taste of the huge stadium, and hopefully that they weren't put off by the result.
See, I think that London Stadium atmosphere was fantastic, and I think this actually drives for us to play at least one more game this season there. I just think the atmosphere was literally electric at times. I think that I'm Forever blowing bubbles when they stopped the music at the London Stadium. You could really feel that drive of the song pushing through onto the pitch. And I think it was important of when them players came out that tunnel to hear that song sang with such passion, which we don't normally get at Rush Green with no music played, actually did overwhelm some of the players for that moment.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think providing these players with the bigger stage more often may take away not performing on big stages as well.
no, absolutely. I think we definitely need another game at the stadium. Don't necessarily think it needs to be a London derby, because I know a few of my friends were saying, what about Chelsea? What about...
I would like the Arsenal game to be at that London stadium, because I think it's the fact of bringing the FAWSL champions. Obviously, Arsenal have a lot of World Cup stars, so do we. And plus, it's a London derby, and plus, we don't like Arsenal either. So I think that would be a great atmosphere, and I think it would actually be better second time round than the one against Tottenham.
I think Arsenal's a good shout. However, I was thinking more of one of the northern teams, in the fact that I think Man City might be.
But would that drive interest? Because I know obviously it's Manchester City, one of the best clubs in the WSL, but does that get as much interest as a London derby against Arsenal or Chelsea? I don't think it does.
I think it would, because if you look at it, you can consider it an FA Cup rematch, grudge match. Got to prove that we can beat them once and for all. They've got a fantastic support that will travel down. I think you say about World Cup stars, I think it was something, I mean, a few have transferred over now, but I think it's something like 9 out of the England squad all played for Man City. So if you want to get recognisable names, you've got the England captain. If she's better by the time we play them, the England #1 in Karen Bardsley, you've got Kira Walsh, you've got Jill Scott, you've got Demi Stokes, Ellen White once she's fit. If you want to build on the World Cup, like madness, shall we say, euphoria, then the Man City game might be the one to do.
Yeah, see, now you've said that, I actually agree with you. Now you've mentioned about the Lionesses, because it also provides young kids to go and watch players they can't obviously watch week in, week out from this area, because they're playing up north. And unless somebody's like you, Ali, and wants to travel here, there and everywhere, there won't be as much as a commitment to go and see them.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I think Man City might be a good game to maybe bring to the bigger stadium.
I think both Arsenal and Man City would drive a lot of interest. Plus, I could bring a few Arsenal fans to wind up after we beat them.
Exactly. I like your confidence. One personal highlight of Sunday was I got an article published in the programme. I am going to put it on my blog site and send out a link if anybody wants to read it. But that's got to be one of the highlights of my broadcasting career, is the fact that I got into the West Ham programme.
See, I bought the programme and I literally opened it up and I thought, I know her from somewhere. Oh, it's Ali. But on a serious note, Ali, you do deserve to have that publication in the programme, because you do travel more than any West Ham woman fan, and I think it's justified, that article, and plus it's actually a really good read. So well done, Ali.
Thank you very much, Reese. If anybody's interested, I hit my 10,000th mile the next time we play Tottenham.
That's the day before my birthday as well, Tottenham.
Well, there you go then. So we've got to have a drink to celebrate the two things.
Definitely.
So I think, as it's been nearly 19 minutes of ranting about the performance against Tottenham, we should look ahead towards the Brighton game, which will be the next one we play. What do we need to do? Because Brighton have been a team of two halves, and I'm hoping that we can, be the Arsenal against them and not Chelsea.
See, with this Brighton game, this is now after I've watched that Tottenham performance. After that, I will only accept a victory.
Yeah.
Literally, I think the players actually owe us this win after Sunday. And plus, it is a game. Even if we won on Sunday, we'd be saying it is another. It's another winnable game, and I think with our squad, I think we should be 9 out of 10 times beating Brighton as well.
You say this, but last game of the season.
Yeah, don't mention that, Ali. We're trying to be positive now.
No, but you're right. Brighton are missing one of their key players in Laura Rafferty, no relation to Claire before anybody gets confused. Missing Laura Rafferty with an ACL injury, so that should hopefully go in our favour. Also, but they have just picked up a really good keeper in. Is it Megan Walsh has gone to Brighton from Yeovil?
Yeah, I was about to make. Sorry for interrupting, Ali, but I was about to make a point. Now I'm talking about like both the strongest 11. Would there be any Brighton players that you'd put in our squad? Because I can only think of one, and that would probably be Megan Walsh in goal.
I honestly wanted Megan Walsh to come to be our second keeper.
So did I.
In the transfer.
She wasn't now.
Yeah, no, exactly. Very happy with Courtney. Let's make that clear. But if you said when it was clear when Yeovil went down as many leagues as they did, they were going to lose certain players. Megan Walsh was definitely one of them. I definitely wanted her to come to West Ham. So she's definitely one. I know she's a bit of a senior player, shall we say, but Danny Buitt is an absolute beast of a player. She's of the same sort of school as Gilly, and I like that style of play. So Danny Buitt I would have in our squad. But those are the only two, and I think we've got a more technical squad that should hopefully, take Brighton to the cleaners. But I'm going to do something that I never thought I'd do, in the fact that I'm going to quote Emma Hayes, the Chelsea coach, in the fact that she said...
You're feeling all right tonight, Ali.
Oh, no, I don't know what's going on with me. But to quote Emma Hayes, to get something from a team that's coached by Hope Powell is an achievement. And she said that after they drew with them 1-1 this season. And she's got a point. Hope Powell was England coach for a reason. She knows what she's doing. So Brighton may be a little bit deceiving. I'm hoping that our team got their backsides kicked, and that's going to give them that oomph to drive it forward.
While we're talking about the England job, maybe Hope Powell should be given her job back from the manager we currently have in charge. But back to West Ham, because that's what's important in this. I think as much as Hope Powell's a good coach, I think Matt's really good as well. But the main thing that I'd be looking at with the Brighton game is literally the midfield. That's what I'd be concentrating on, because I think we need to improve that going ahead of Brighton, because this is a league this year as well, Ali, where you literally don't know what's going to happen in any game. I think the Tottenham game proved that.
Yeah.
And I think this game is going to be a tight scoreline as well. And I think we're going to win 2-1. However, I think Brighton are going to give us a run for our money as well.
No, absolutely. They're going to have something to prove in the battering they had from Arsenal, which, if anybody watched that game, Arsenal weren't at their best for that game. It was actually quite a poor game for Arsenal, but somehow they prevailed and battered them. I'm getting it right. Was Arsenal they played, or was it Chelsea?
Yeah, it was 4-0. Yeah, Megan Walsh made a mistake as well.
The thing it was Bristol that Chelsea battered. Thing. So what? It was like 4-5-0. So it is going to be interesting to see how we react. We do need to sort out our midfield. First off, we need to get a more solid midfield, in the fact that we keep losing our players, in the fact they all run up the pitch and then they all run back again. We need to keep that holding midfield position, which we don't seem to do, and I don't quite understand why we're not doing it, but we've got some solid midfielders that need to work on it.
I think another thing that we need to improve looking ahead of Brighton is taking chances, because on Sunday we didn't take any of our big chances, and I think another thing as well that you could also notice late second half was when Lamus and Thomas find that connection. I think that they're going to be very dangerous together. But I think with this Brighton game, like I said, I think if we don't win this, then that'll put a real downer on the start of the season, I think.
also it's going to put us in dangerous territory because that puts us in the same level as Liverpool, and we need to up the game a little bit.
Well, we do have a very tough month as well, because if I'm right, I think we have Brighton, then Tottenham again, and then Chelsea at home in the league. I think that's October covered.
Yep,
So
and one of the games straight after in November is Man City. So
I think Brighton literally is a must-win, looking at the remaining FAWSL fixtures coming up as well.
yep, no, absolutely. So, guys, it's that time of the show in the fact that we are going to highlight one of our star players. And this time round, it's the player that's made a comeback after her injury at the beginning of the season. It is our Irish superstar. Now, I want to say it's Leanne Kernahan, but I could always get that wrong because my pronunciation is terrible, as we've learned.
I think it's Kiernan.
There we go.
That's what they say over the tannoy.
Yeah, but then they used to call Brianna Vasily, so...
Being really negative tonight, ain't you, Ali? It's like a changed person on the show.
Person, darling. It's well, I think you've been a West Ham fan for 20 odd years.
I think you've taken worse of the Tottenham defeat than I have, and that takes some doing, Ali.
But it's Tottenham. I wouldn't mind that performance against any other team except for maybe Man United.
I would. I'd be upset with that performance against any team.
Yeah, but it's Tottenham. We needed to beat No, never mind. That's mistake. Anyway, positivity. Why is she our star player?
I think one thing with Leanne is she's a young player that's hungry for success in her career, and I think you can tell with that on the pitch. I think as well she's very good with combination play with centre forwards. We were starting to see that with Thomas, but if you look at last season more with Jane Ross, I think she made Jane Ross into a better player sometimes as well with combination play. And I think with when Lehman, Ross and Kiernan all played up front together last year, I think that's when we was at our best. And I think for me with Kiernan, I think against Brighton should be one I'd be looking to start now. She's had her 2 comeback games. I think she proved against Tottenham she's now fit enough to play. But obviously Kiernan's got a really positive career looking ahead as well, because she's in the Ireland squad, which is important to notice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one thing that sets Leanne apart from a lot of players in the league is her pace. She is just one of the fastest players down that flank I've ever seen. And going back to last season in the FA Cup final, she was giving Man City real problems. They thought that, we had them when she came on. She's just super quick. And because she's little, she can get into spaces that other players can't. And then she gives bigger players problems because they don't know how to quite deal with both her size and her pace. I remember last year against Chelsea, Millie Bright had no idea what to do with Leanne because she's so quick down that flank that, she is our Rosella in the fact that she will outpace most defenders.
I think another thing to note with her paces as well, that she equals that with technical ability, because most of the times with players, when they have a lot of pace, they don't need to be as technical, if that makes sense, because their pace makes up for it. But she does have one hell of a shot and one hell of a cross. So I think Leanne last year would have been in line for Hammer of the Year at some points in the season.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited to see Leanne back, because I think Leanne makes us a better team as well.
Oh no, absolutely. Like you said, she gives opportunities across to our strikers, which we seem to have been missing. I am excited to see what her Lehman and Thomas can do. I'm actually quite also excited to see if they'll do what I'm hoping they might do is have her start and you have Leon on the other side, and then you can switch it out and have Lehman in as well, because I think that Leon's pace as well works well, I think, but she's definitely one of our top players, and thank God she's back.
Mm-hmm. I think as well, another thing that's keynote from Sunday is we only ever started to look like a threatening team when Leanne came on that pitch as well. But I was about to say, Ali, when I thought you was going to leave Lehman out there, and I was going to say, well, Alicia ain't going to be happy next time she sees you.
More than likely not.
I don't think any of the...
I win her back in January when I've got my Christmas present, which is a shirt with her name on.
Yeah, maybe that will win her back then.
Okay, so we've had a highlight. Now we're going to talk Reese's favourite thing, which is the FIFA.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite thing. I do have a girlfriend now, Ali.
I know you're a PES fan, but your FIFA rating, who have you gone for and what is your rating?
So this week I've gone with Kenza Darley, who I actually think is in the game this year. So with anybody with FIFA 20 that wants to play with a West Ham woman star, Kenza is in the game within the French squad. But I'm going to give her quite a high rating of 85. I think playing in the French squad takes a lot of credit because that is a squad with a lot of ability. And a plus, I think she's going to be one of the key players in the FAWSL this year. Yep,
wholeheartedly agree. But like I said, couldn't understand Matt Beard's decision making in not playing her first during the Spurs.
Ali, you're going to be positive about anything on this show tonight.
Oh, no, because we lost to Spurs and we lost badly to Spurs.
You're making me look calm and collected here. So thanks for that, Ali.
Yeah, my heart can't take it to Spurs. Like I said, I sat through the 7-1 drubbing we got from Man City last season, and it didn't bother me as much. I sat through the 4-0 4-2s and everything from Arsenal, and it didn't bother me as much as it does to lose to Spurs.
I think I should get a violin out for next week if we...
I know, I can't be positive about it. So
I think...
Go on.
No, I was going to say, I think normally we'd say, but England are on this week, but while Phil Neville's in charge, that'll be a negative, I'm sure.
I don't have time to talk about my feelings about Philip Neville. The less said about him, the better.
I think most people on the show tonight will be asking to have Ali from last week back for after Brighton.
Well, that's it. Let's see how we do against Brighton. So one player that seems to be picked out quite a bit by our loyal viewers is Jacinta. No, I'm still not going to try and say her surname.
Galabavarachi. Oh, that's my...
There we go. I think you've got it better than us. And I agree with them. She has got some absolute pace on her again. And I think that's going to be our key. We need to outpace the opposition. We need to utilise that.
I think with Jacinta as well is I think she plays in two roles really well, either down the left wing, and I think she does drop in as a attacking midfielder well.
Yeah.
So she's a very dynamic player, and it's going to be interesting to see how she grows as a player in this league throughout the season.
I also like to point out that Tim agrees with me that we should beat Spurs in absolutely every competition, so that's why this hurts more.
We all agree with you. I'm just trying to raise the mood of the show up tonight, Ali. I think we've gone to the -100s now with that comment of positivity.
Just a little bit. Okay, so we've got a question here from Wally, who wants to know what is our best starting 11. I think we might differ on this slightly, so I'm going to let you go first, and then I'll give you mine.
So Brosnan in goal, Brosnan right back. I'm only joking.
Phil Neville style of positioning, please.
So it will be for me Brosnan, obviously.
Yeah.
Erin Simon, Hendricks, Flaherty. I'd probably put Vetterlane left back, even though she hasn't played there yet this season. Midage, Daly, Longhurst, Lehman left wing. I'd like to go with 4-3-3 here. Right wing, Kiernan, and up front, Martha Thomas.
Okay. We agree on goalkeeper. As much as I love Anna, I think it's out.
Well, if you didn't say Courtney, I would be really annoyed, and it would go to -200 with negativity.
I don't know about positioning, to be honest, but my back four will always contain Gilly and Hendricks. I think their partnership is something to be seen. I do like having Simon on the wing, and I quite like. I can never say her name. Who's our Norwegian player? Is it Van Kami? My pronunciation is terrible tonight.
Van Kami, where you got that from? It's Cavani.
Cavani. There we go. I don't know. And I would have her on the back as well. Our midfield, I would have Cho, Longhurst, and probably Jacinta in that three. And then
Kendra.
yeah, I probably would just for now.
That's a friend lost tonight.
Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do? And then have Lehman, Leon, and Thomas. I like pace.
Quite a different 11 from the both of us then.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim has said that Hendricks is his James Tompkins of the team. I'm hoping that's a compliment, Tim. I really.
Yeah, not with defending, I don't think, Tim.
Yeah, Brooke has only broke her own nose and not anybody else's. No, but I agree with Tim. Brooke is one of my favourite players. She's always gives it her all. She's one of the most committed players. She's also got one of the weirdest tastes in music, as the playlist her and Anna made me. So a very random mix of music on my way to the game on Sunday. Also, Tim, you should get her mother Pam on the show, because let me tell you, Pamela Hendricks is one of the most passionate American West Ham fans I have seen in a very long time. Apparently we need to take a drink. Is that every time we mention James Tompkins, Neil, we need to take a drink? Right. The final thing, which again is probably going to end up in a lot of negativity, because me and Reese do not agree, is we want to give our West Ham Women's Player of the Month. Now, we had a quick discussion about this, and while I can concede who Reese's player is, I do not agree. And if anybody's been watching us regularly, will know who Reese's player of the month is, but let's give everybody a great shock in who are you nominating for player of the month, Reese?
So it's you'd never expect this of me, Ali, but it is, of course, the new West Ham #1, Courtney Brosnan.
So in 100 words or less, why is she your hammer of the month?
I think at the start of the season, when Morehouse was given the #1 shirt, that was seen as a big statement. But Courtney has came in through pre-season, I think, with the first half Tottenham performance, really highlighted how good she was. The Birmingham game, I think, and the Arsenal game. I think the Arsenal game, she kept us in that at times. The Birmingham game, some of her saves, and obviously the catch from the goal line won us that game. And I think against Tottenham, she was one of two only positives. And I think another thing is she's been under a lot of pressure to grab her #1 shirt early this year. And I think she's now done that. And I think a big statement of being called up for Ireland as well is a great achievement for Courtney. So I think there's only one person to win Player of the Month, and it's Courtney Brosnan. We sound like we're talking about a Brexit debate or something, don't we, with this?
Oh no, we do, especially because we've got the split screen as well. So it's So my player, however, is up front, and that's Martha Thomas. I think Martha is been absolute fire for us. Obviously, she's got some of our best goals. She got the goal against Tottenham in the pre-season. She got the goal at Arsenal. She is an absolute beast up front. She is making things happen. She's working well with Leon and now Leanne. So she's the striker that we need, and we didn't quite have last season. Love you, Jane Moss, but no. She's the number. Stop! You're going to give me a perspective again. But she is the number 9 that we needed, and I think she's really given it her all this season. She's had to prove a lot coming from a club that is not as well known with Le Havre, or the Havre, as my girlfriend keeps correcting my pronunciation. Can you tell? Just, you know.
I think I agree more with Le Havre, actually, Ali. I think you've got that one right.
Oh, no, I keep saying Le Havre, but I keep getting told off. But she's absolutely a force to be reckoned with. And I'm not the only one that thinks so, because Karen Carney pointed out that Martha Thomas was one to watch on the BT Sport Roundup on the women's game. And if Kaz Carney says that she's one to watch, who am I to argue?
Well, I will argue. I think Courtney Brosnan is the one to watch this season. So,
and because we can't agree, we are going to throw it out to our loyal viewers. As with those that picked our name, we are going to put a poll out and have you decide who is the We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue Player of the Month. So your choices are our goalkeeper, Courtney Brosnan, or our number 9, Martha Thomas, and we will announce the results in 2 weeks' time, because we're taking a brief break thanks to the international hiatus, where I will have my blood pressure risen again by the tactics.
Let's hope Neville out of his job by the next show.
By Mr. Neville. I am going up to Middlesbrough to see the game, and this is where I will, my blood pressure will go through the roof, when he indubitably plays Lucy Bronze as a midfielder, which she is not.
I think Phil Neville's turned into, in the World Cup, there's a lot of positivity about him now. There's literally none. I don't think anybody can stand him right now with what he's doing to Lucy Bronze.
I think the problem is, this is again off topic for West Ham, so we'll keep it brief. I think the problem is he thinks he's got a gift of football, which, as an ex-Man United player, that doesn't surprise me. And he doesn't see that he can do no wrong. Like, he was asked about why Leah Williamson's not getting any minutes, and his argument is, well, I'm just going to always play Stefan Millie. So
for me, I don't like him that much as well, because I think he's got a really poor attitude as well. I think he's trying to find another phrase here. What's the word? He's a bit up himself. That's the one.
Yeah. So he definitely is. He thinks he's God's gift to football, and he does drive me slightly batty.
I mean, he's voted as one of the coaches of the year as well. I mean, this is really going off topic now. Is an absolute joke.
Yeah, absolutely not. And on that joyful negative note, that is us done for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to be on a brief hiatus because it is international break this week for the women. However, there is 7 players, I believe, going out on international duty.
Which is a great actually. Yeah. 7 players. We didn't have that many last year. And I think it speaks volumes of some of the players we've added to the squad. And, of course, Courtney Brosnan of Ireland.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Leon is already in Japan, out with Canada. We've got a number of people out with Ireland. Dali, I believe, is out with France. So we have, I think Lehman's out with Switzerland. So we've got a fair few on international duty.
I think Martha Thomas might be having to do with something with the Scotland camp, because I think I read an article and I'm pretty sure she said she was going with Scotland this week or something.
Yeah, apparently she is eligible for America, Scotland, and England. And one of the Scottish.
My hashtag is Martha Thomas for England, personally,
but yeah, one of the Scottish fans did say that they were going to send a lot of haggis, whiskey, shortbread, every Scottish stereotype you can think of to Rush Green to try and tempt it over to the Scotland team. So, yeah, that is us for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks' time with a rundown on the Brighton game, a run up to us playing Tottenham for the third time this season, and hopefully we can finally beat Spurs. Otherwise, that's going to put a massive dent into our Conti Cup campaign. So we will see you in 2 weeks' time. It's good night from me.
And a good night from me. And hopefully we get our old Ali back the next show, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.